Good morning and welcome to Just Talk with Lenore. It's been a little while since I've been here with you all and just going through some emotions in regards to how life has been treating me since the last time that I spoke with you all. I'm not certain if I explained to you all the last time that my mother had passed away back in March, and I am experiencing a lot of different things that I didn't think would affect me the way that it is, but it is. I'm finding myself in a space where I don't have the support that I need in regards to, just living life on life's terms. And I have to definitely take that part back, because when I think about the support that I do have, it's pretty good. I do have my best friends who have been very supportive throughout this time and provided me an ear, and they listen and they give me honest feedback. But in this time period, there has been a lot of stupidity that's going on, and I feel the brunt of everything that's going on in my life, and trying to put on a happy smile or a face that is pleasing, it is not working. I find myself since last week being moving into depression, and I feel myself moving into a physical space where, um, you know, I'm older now. I just turned 54 in August, and my body is not the way it used to be. Um, I believe that with all of the mental and emotional stuff that I'm going through, um, the physical aspects of me is also taking its toll. So simple things that I would do on a regular basis, I don't do anymore. Simple things like, just simple things. And in those simple things, it seems like I just can't do it. I can't wear my heels anymore. I can't, I can't wear certain clothes anymore. I can't do a lot of things that I, have a desire to do, but I just can't. So just thinking back from March 2025 up until now, I just feel that with everything that has gone on in my life, that I properly didn't get the 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 right amount of care and concern. And I'll say it that way, the right kind of care and concern. And when I talk about the care and concern, I talk about the care and concern that I'm supposed to get from the people that is supposed to be about me. And I don't get that. People that's supposed to be about me is supposed to be about me. I don't get that. I try to, and I apologize for all of this. I try to make sure that each day that I live, that I do something productive, that's going to help me. And I find myself in a crossroads because in every area of my life, there's something going on. In every area of my life, there's an issue with my family. Well, with my mother's family. So, like I said, since my mother's death and her funeral and everything, her family has distanced itself from me, and that's all well and good. The misconception that my mother's family had or has is that for some strange reason I inherited so much money. Number one, I'm not ever motivated by money. And let's just get that straight. I know the place that money has in my life, and that's to pay my bills and, take care of my family. But that's the only place that money has in my life. I'm not running out here trying to uh, have millions and millions of dollars in the bank from my mother. My mother didn't have anything when she died. The only thing that my mother had and that was offered to me was her last Social Security check. That's it. And that's still sitting somewhere in my drawer because it's not necessary for me. People's perspective of what this is not that. People create their own narrative to situations that has nothing to do with them, but always insert themselves in something in my family because they think it's okay. My mother's children, my mother's grandchildren, and my mother's church family, allegedly, that she had, all have a narrative of what they think I am and who I am, and that's not the case, and I could care less. The way that I live my life is going to be distant and separate. And even when I lived in the same town with my mother's family, I still kept myself distant from them because they were nothing but troublemakers. And when I moved away and moved my mom with me before her death, I moved her where I was, away from everything, away from, the norm that she was accustomed to, and then away from the mess, because everyone always has I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that, and that was not the case the last months of my mother's life. It was myself and my children, my two nieces, and that's it. When I asked for support, everybody went on with their life. But prior to my mother getting sick and prior to my mother coming to live with me, they were responsible for her life. And they didn't do a good job then. So at the end of her life, it was still a lot of mess. And like I've shared many times before, when you're dealing with a sick parent or any person that's sick, and they are asking and requesting, you try to fulfill those obligations because that's what they want. And that's what I did. And I gave my mother everything that I had to give, that I could give. I made sure that she had the right doctor's care. I made sure that she ate when she wanted to eat. I followed the directions that they gave me. Even the day that she went into the hospital for the last time and ultimately passed away, my mother fought tooth and nail because she did not want to be there. But if my mother did not go to the hospital on that day, my mother would have passed away in my house, well, in the apartment that I have. And that's something that I didn't want to happen. But my mother she was slowly fading away then. And then even up until her last day on earth, she was still fighting. And my mother was courageous in everything that she did to her very last breath. She still was fighting. The problem that I have is that, again, everybody has this narrative that they have for themselves, but nobody don't know the real story about except for the three people that was in this house. That's me and my two sons. We were here 24 hours a day doing what we needed to do. After that's all said and done, then there's still another narrative that they paint for themselves, where there was no one that was thinking about me. Nobody was thinking about like what I had to experience and being here and seeing this and doing all of these things. Nobody thought about that because, again, they have their families, they have their spouses, they have whomever. And that's just me and my children. So I learned to just live that way because that's all that counts is me and my children and my granddaughters. That's it. My family, which is my father's family, I don't have anybody on his side. And now I don't have anybody on my mother's side, with the exception of my niece and her two children. But that's it. And like I share, when it comes down to family, for 53 years of my life, my mother's family was always a part of my family. But then for her to pass away and for them to turn their back on me, then it was just a facade for that time period. And that's cool. That's fine. I can accept that. But be a man or a woman about it. Don't send these text messages that you all have all every day about, good morning, good night. I don't read them. I delete them immediately. Because for one, I'm never going to block anybody. And I'm not going to block anybody. I just won't respond. I won't respond. Because if you can turn your back on me now when I needed you the most, then there's no need for me to allow you to be a part of my space anymore at all, period. Last Sunday was my mother's birthday, and I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to celebrate my mother on what would have been her 92nd birthday, and I did it the way that I want. I made a great meal. I made I purchased a cake. I got some balloons because I wanted to do a balloon release because that's just something that I wanted. And prior to my mother, when we moved into this apartment, my mother couldn't wait until the summertime to come so she could sit in the backyard. And she never got an opportunity to do that because she passed away in March. And so we had a balloon release. And it was something that I wanted to do, and I did it in honor of my mom. I also posted on my TikTok and my Facebook and my Instagram. And I did all of those things because that's how I honored my mother. And I will continue to do that because my mother was my mom. And I had the liberty of having her in my life for she's been, was 91 when she passed away. So I had her for 53 years of my life. That's my mom. But the other part that goes along with it is that it's just that. It was my mom. Her family distanced themselves. So I have to keep it that way. And so when I allow them, whenever they text message, because I respond, I'm never, because of who I am in God, in Christ, I'm not going to have any animosity or negativity towards anyone. If you text me, I'm going to respond. So I did that to my mother's family. The next thing I know, the narratives that they're saying towards me, again, was motivated by money. There is no money. There never was any money. There's nothing. The narratives that they're painting for themselves is to make them feel better, because there is nothing. Every month that I have to pay my rent mortgage, I pay my rent mortgage. Every time that I got to pay the bills that's responsible for my life, I pay the bills that's responsible for my life. And I don't think about anybody else, because if I don't do it, then we won't have. And that's not how I'm going to be. That's not how my parents instilled in thoughts and things into me. That's not how it's going to be. I will go without before anything would happen in this apartment, because it's the place that my mom felt comfortable for me and my children. It's the place that I feel comfortable with. I'm not going to allow somebody to break my peace with me and my children. And I'm not going to allow people to affect my thoughts with negativity. And that's what it is with my mother's family. That's all they are, is negative. And they're motivated by money. And that's never been my place, ever. I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by food and experiences. That's what I'm motivated by. So when I think about everything that has been going on, that's family. But then at my workplace, always situations that's happening, always being bullied at my workplace, always being harassed at my workplace, always being the butt of someone's hostility at my workplace. So when I go into my office, I'm always met with something. And what I do is I try to keep myself from being terminated. because of some act that I've done in response to something somebody else did to me. So when I continue to be who I am, it's hard for people to understand that. It's hard for people to understand that I'm going to be who I am no matter what, because it has nothing to do with you personally, but me as a whole and what God has me to do. So when I think about everything that's going on, and they tell you once you're about to achieve a goal or get to what it is that you will have, you have to go through these obstacles. So when I go through these obstacles with my mother's family, and when I go through obstacles at work, I always look at the bigger picture. Is this what God is testing me to see if I'm going to resort back to negativity or resort back to isolation or resort back to a space where he just pulled me out of, and I'm still grieving. You know, if I resort to where people want me to resort to, that's a setback in my eyesight. If I resort back to the way how people speak to me and I speak back to them, then they win, because they got me to come over to their side. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue to be who I need to be for me and my family, because that's just who I am. And when I allow people to take me off of my square, it takes me off of my square completely. And then I get the negative aspects of it in my physical health and my mental health and my emotional health, and I don't feel up to par. And that's how I am today. I don't feel up to par. So let another area of my life that I'm struggling in, and that's in a relationship wise. So if you ladies and gentlemen know, throughout the past previous episodes of this, there has been this one person who's always been and still been. Still, he has not accepted my place in his life. So he continues to pull the strings of my heart and pull the strings of what could be, because now he's listening or he's changing and he's doing this and he's doing that. That's pro-social, but it's not. I think about how in these past couple of months since my mother passed away, and how he has shown up. He's shown up in the way that he knew how with my mother, because he had his own relationship with my mother. So I can't take that from him. In developing what we are established or what we have, I'm never going to be good with any person else at this moment, because I keep saying it out of my mouth that that's my person, because in my whole heart I believe he's my person still. Even with his shenanigans, I still think he's my person. The reality of it is that he knows that. But instead of being a man about the situation and accepting what it is, he continues to play games. As long as I've been saying to this person that I don't ask you for money, never have, never will. I don't ask you for things, possessions, that kind of stuff. Never, never have, never will. The choices that you make in regards to buying the trinket, which was the ring, a trinket, and we'll get back to that. So we'll put a pin in a ring. The pocketbooks that you purchased me, many in the 10 years that we've been together, the 10 years I still have some of them. But out of the things that he's purchased me, I purchased him back. So when you purchase a real life situation example, he purchased me sneakers. We had matching sneakers for my 50th birthday. He gave the sneakers away, right? Why would you give my sneakers away? He says, because you act like you didn't want them. I never said that. You just gave them away. No problem. The ring that he gave me, I'll bring the ring back. I don't wear the ring because the ring means absolutely nothing. His intentions for that ring is what he says is to keep my mouth closed, and that's what it was. So the ring is where it needs to be. So 2 Sundays ago, we go to church. We go to his church in the morning, and then we go to my church in the afternoon. I wear the ring. The whole Sunday, I wear the ring. I come back home Sunday into Monday. I take the ring off because I didn't want it to get wet while I was going to take a shower. Put the ring where I thought was in my dresser, but it was not. Couldn't find a ring for an entire week. Tore my entire bedroom up looking for this ring. Cried, had a heart attack, everything about this ring, and couldn't find it for a week. So on Saturdays, I changed my linen on my bed. When I changed the linen on my bed, I flipped it out, and there goes the ring, tangled up in the bedding. No problem. Finally found the ring. What he thought was that I sold the ring. But for what? Why should I sell a ring? This is the trinket that you gave me, so I'm going to keep the ring. Now, let me take you back to that Sunday when we went to church, his church and my church. In between his church service and my church service, we have a 2-hour layover. So we went to a jewelry store. And so it wasn't the jewelry store that we purchased the ring from, but he wanted it evaluated for at another jeweler. And so the jeweler told him that it wasn't a good ring. Now I have the paperwork on the ring, not the paperwork, but the price tag. So I know he paid a pretty penny for the ring. Now the other jeweler told him that the ring wasn't, it wasn't nothing, this, and that. Okay. So now I'm pissed off because this man has now told me that my ring ain't nothing. We go to my service, and then at the end of the night, the end of services, I come home, he go to his house, and that was it. Nope, actually, let me take that back. I went to his house and I had supper, and we ate, and then I came home, and then he came to my house a little later, but that's fine. From that period on until now, and up until today, we are going through growing pains. So early in the week, I reached out to him because he was being very aggressive in an area that I did not like. And I explained to him that you have to understand that your aggression is a convenience for you. And that's the tool that you use whenever you want whatever it is that you want. Fine. Stop taking your aggressions out on me because I'm not doing anything. Okay. Certain things has happened in his life that he thought he had options with other women. He had options, and those options are not there anymore, right? That's you. That's what you're angry and mad about. Say what it is. You're mad because that option that you thought you had was not available to you anymore. Number one. Number two, that option that you had is no longer available to you anymore. So now you're mad about that. So now the only person that's still available as an option for you is me. We go through this exchange, this text exchange, and I share with him what I'm sharing with you. You're mad because your options are no longer available to you, and now you're upset. You want to take it out on me because you thought you had a chance, and you don't. So now Today, Thursday, there was he made me dinner after work. I went to his mother's house after work. I get there. His mother's home is closest to my work. It makes no sense for me to stay there till 11, 12 o'clock at night when I have to be to work at 5. Let me just go home, grab my, things and come back. No, you can't do that. No worries. Thursday into Friday. Friday, I got 4 hours worth of sleep. I went to work to do an 8-hour shift and I was miserably tired. His schedule changed for Friday into Saturday. So he thought that after I took my naked nap and woke up at 7 o'clock, that I was going to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, knowing that I had to go to work the next day, same time. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. So now you got an attitude. No problem. Now you got an attitude because I won't do what you want me to do, but still can't stay with you. So you want me to conform to your way of thinking, knowing that you want to do whatever you want to do and then kick me out when it's convenient for you. No, I'm not doing that. So now you're mad. So now Saturday, no communication at all. This morning, I sent him a text and told him that his order was at my home. He tells me, "Oh, when you get a chance, bring it to put it in my mailbox." No, I'll return it before I bring it to your house to put it in the mailbox. Then you can order it yourself and have them deliver it to you. No, I'm not doing that. So now he won't answer the phone because he's a coward. So he want to go back and forth and say, "Oh, you was tired this weekend. That's why I don't want to do A, B, and C, and D." No problem, sir. None. No problem. I got things to do. So now the game is being played some more. And because I won't allow myself to go out and find some, or go out and be sought by some man, because he is all over me. I can't shake him because in my whole heart, I believe that's my person. So I'm not good to nobody else because he continues to hold this soul tide, because that's what it is, over me. So I can't go anywhere. And I'm aware of it. I know it. I share it with him all the time. Do you not understand the power that you possess? Because I can't move forward. I can only stay stuck right here because of you. Not because you love me. Not because you show me affection. Not because you do all of these great things for me or to me, and you don't. It's because I love him with my heart. I love him and I'm in love with him. You guys already know that story. The more time that I give myself to this person, the more times that he takes advantage of the situation. I'm not a woman that's going to go out here and sleep with multiple people. I'm not going to do that. My choice is to sleep with him. That's my choice. I choose to be stagnated with him because that's my choice. Some people may think it's settling, and that's all well and good from the outside looking in. Some people may think that I can do better, and I probably could, but there's no one coming in either. So making myself available, I have, and I do, but nobody's approaching. So it's like he has the power, but because he has that power and he's misusing it, it's going to make us for a horrible situation at some point. It's going to make for a horrible situation where either he gets hurt or I get hurt. And right now, I'm the one that's getting hurt. And that's what it is. And it's not okay. He and I talk about trying to make the commitment different. Because if I put a label on it as a relationship, or if I say fiance, or if I say this, and that, he gets, who said we this and who's that? So I don't say nothing. The commitment stronger and better. Okay. We tried pastoral counseling in the past, so now we're going to revisit it again. And he said, okay. In the midst of us trying to do the pastoral counseling, he shows the pastor the the text exchange that we had when we were feuding. Why would you do that? Because I said curse words. I said things that I said. I said a lot of stuff. And then you show it to someone, but now you're not seeing my part of it, right? Lo and behold, what the pastor said, that woman loves you. Her response is, her response is what you're saying to her and what you're doing to her. That's what that is. So he thought the pastor was going to be on his side. Okay. I didn't have a chance to share my part of it because I didn't start this. I didn't know we was in, going to the counseling yet. So now I got to get with, somebody to talk to too. But I'm not. You do your piece first. That's fine. When we get together, we'll all come together and we'll talk about it like I've always desired that. Anytime that these places in my relationship come up, I always find myself lost in a sense where I don't have a balance in it. He has the upper hand in any regard. He has the upper hand, and that's okay. I know that. That's not a secret. I know that. But when you have a person like me who cares and loves for you, ready to sign a prenuptial agreement, what I come into the relationship or commitment is what I go out of it in the commitment. He has this thing that he thinks that I'm after his money. Go back to what I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not motivated by money. I'm motivated by food and experiences. Okay? I'll sign whatever you want me to sign. But just remember, what's ever signed on a dotted line, whether you hit the lottery or I hit the lottery, the sign is you come in with what you have and I come in with what I have. If I hit the lottery, you're not entitled to it. If he hits the lottery, I'm not entitled to it either. However, if we're in a relationship, marriage, commitment, whatever, I'm going to do for him, and I would hope that he would do for me. Bottom line. Once I get married, I'm going to be married forever. That's it. But that's my desire. I desire to be a wife, and I still desire to be a wife no matter what happens on this side or that side. I still have that desire. No matter what happens in that situation is going to do one or two things. He's going to get or find someone that he wants to marry, or someone is going to find me and want me the way that I am. That's it. And until that time, we're going to play the game because all it is a game of chess, as he would say. The queen always protects the king, which I do. Edification is my key thing for everything. No matter how bad he treats me, I never treat him in that way outside of my space. Outside of here, he is the cat's meow. But inside of this room or my space where it's just he and I curse his behind out. And I use real curse words and I don't spell them out. You talk negative to me, I'm going to talk negative to you. You speak positivity to me, I'm going to speak positivity back into you, sir. I'm going to do that. Outside of here, if you're not edifying me in my face or where I can hear it, I still edify him. And that's the piece that he don't get. Edification outside of the walls that we are in is important. Because if you're speaking down to me and you don't respect me when I go into spaces that you are in or we're together, people are going to be like, psst, 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 psst. Yeah, that's on you, boo, because you did that. And then it's like, well, why are you with him? You too good for him. You too good for him. That's fine. I could be, but that's my choice. I choose him. A lot of times what happens, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you get into a certain situation with people and you are tied to them through the soul, for me, has been the hardest thing to detach from. The hardest thing to detach from. And I say that comfortably because that's what it is. The soul tie. It's my choice to stay stuck, choosing to stay this way. Not out of fear that that no one will find me. I don't fear that. That's just the person that I choose to love and have sex with. That's it. That's transparency. That's what I feel. Knowing the truth of the matter and saying it out loud, and I've been saying it out loud. When you get people who hear it from the outside, they always make judgments past it. But some of those people are the same people who are stuck in situations themselves. So these are the same people who says, "Oh, girl, if it was me, I wouldn't. Oh, girl, I wouldn't take this. Oh, girl, I wouldn't do that." And that's all well and good. But at some point, you was where I was. And for some, they're still there. They're just in denial. And I apologize for moving this way because I can't hold my legs crossed out like that for such a long time. And so that's just the way that it is. But when you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, and you think about, the essence of what certain things are for you, this is where you come to. This is the realization that I've come to. I'll say it that way because a lot of times people are in denial of what it is what they feel and what they need to say out loud. I'm not afraid to say it out loud because I can. Because who gonna beat me? My mother or my father? The only person that can beat me is the Lord. And when the Lord is tired of me being in this situation, He'll take me out of it. And He'll place me where in a different situation, like I said, in a space that I know that I'm okay at. But just being here and thinking about everything and how people turn on you, how people turn on you, and how people always have negative thoughts or negative comments or whatever it is that they have to say, they say. I don't care about that because nobody paying my bills. Nobody. Nobody feeding my family. Nobody. Nobody are doing these things but me. So I could care less about what you feel about me or how I live my life. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an open book. You ask me a question, I'm gonna share it. If you ask me a question about my family, I'm going to share it. Me and my sons and my granddaughters and my niece, her children. If you ask me a question about The relationship that I'm in, I'm going to talk about it. That I am in, I will talk about it. If you ask me about God and spirituality, I'll give you what I know that works for me and how I deal with God and how God deals with me. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about anything that you ask me to talk about because I do. I will talk about it. I'm an open book when it comes down to me and what I need to say. And I have no filter, no guard, no nothing because it's who who benefits from a lie? I don't. Who benefits from telling somebody a made up story about anything? I don't. Who cares? At the end of the day, the only person I kick that matters is me. If it's not going to hurt or harm myself or my children, I'm good. But the reality of it is, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you are not true to yourself, to thine own self be true, which is my favorite saying in the world, to thine own self is true, I'm true to me. I know what it is, and I'm okay with it. I'm mad and angry about the situation, but I'm okay with it. Because when it's time, it'll be time. At some point I'll get tired of it. At some point I'll put me first when it comes down to certain situations. And it's not like I'm sitting here saying, oh, I don't want to be alone. I am alone. I'm single. I'm not married. Let this jerk tell it. I'm not in a relationship. I'm good. It's just like what you think. Or you good for no. I ain't gonna even say that because you never know who might want to watch this. And I gotta be careful. So you know what it is. It is what it is. So until that changes for myself, I gotta continue to be true to myself. And my true self says I'm a God fearing woman, mother, Mima, aunt, great aunt, lover, loves love, caring, understanding to a fault. That's who I am. But if I start and I take away from any of those things that I am or any of those characteristics that I am, then I'm not true to myself. I love, and I love the act or acts of love. I love that. Some people might think that my only focus is relationship, and it is a relationship with God, a relationship with my family, and a romantic relationship. Those are the relationships that matter to me. That's it. A working relationship with my boss or my executive director, that's important. Being friends with my coworkers is not important. I don't have those kind of relationships because it's like that crab in the barrel mentality. And if you're not clicked up with someone, then you're not, it doesn't count. So I don't care to have relationships at work because outside of those 10 hours that I put in Monday through Thursday, that's it. Outside of that, we have nothing else. That's it. So being true to me and putting it where it is, all we are is work buddies, work associates. Because when you turn around in the work and my work environment, once you leave from in front of me, that loyalty that you had while you were speaking to me, it goes out the window once you leave my office. Because by the time you get out of my office, you've already shared that with 25 people already. And you just took one step out the office. So your loyalty to me is gone. And it's all right. Because anything that I say to you at work and you want to share it around, that's what I wanted you to do. Okay? That's what I wanted you to do. It's not a secret. I'm saying it to you right now. It's not a secret. So understand, ladies and gentlemen, when I talk about the things that's going on in my life and the way that I deal with things in my life, I do internalize a lot of stuff. And I get sick behind internalizing the stuff that's going on around me because I have no healthy outlets. My mom is not here anymore because my mom was the person that I would go to and share things off, and she would walk me off the ledge. And now that space has been replaced by my best friend, who is my emergency contact, who is the person that I call when I'm at my wit's end and I can't handle it anymore, who we just get through it together. And I told her, yo, I don't have no family members that I could put as my emergency contact person. And she was like, you put my name down. Okay. If God forbid anything should happen, she knows what to do and how I want anything. So I'm okay with that. And just like I shared with, the people around me, my next year I'm going to be 55 years old. And I'm going to celebrate my 55th birthday because I didn't have a 50th birthday. It's going to be like a wedding reception. And it's going to be my 55th birthday the way I want it. And it's going to be a black tie affair, formal affair, because that's what I'm going to have for my birthday. And I'm going to invite everybody because I don't care. If 2 people show up, that's fine. But I'm going to still do it. So save the date. But that's what I want to do for my 55th birthday. I know exactly about 5 people that'll be there. My 5 children, my 2 children, my granddaughters, my niece and her children. 7. That's 7. That's guaranteed. Okay? So understand, when I talk about these things, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is what the reality is. If I'm preparing for my 55th birthday and 7 people show up, those are 7 people that should be there. And I'm okay with that as well. So understanding my life and where I am right now, I'm good. My mother's family is going to make the narrative work for them. The people at my job that gives me the hardest time, they're going to make it work for them. The place that I'm in this alleged relationship that I have, is going to work for him. And I'm okay with it because I know to thine own self is being true. I'm being truly who I need to be for me. God bless you and thank you.